Hello, everybody. Yeah, go ahead.
Damn. I'm scared for how much is left of this video, considering it should just be KOF 15.
Yeah. I am very intrigued to see exactly what Thorgi is going to cover here, because it might extend towards like SNK after KOF 15, what they're doing now, what happened, where they currently are. Yeah. But anyways, dudes, welcome back to the KOF retrospective reactions. I believe this is part, what is this, 4.3? Something like that? I don't know. The parts just go by, man. Oh, it's this journey. It's almost at its end. Almost.
It's been fun. It's been a roller coaster.
It has. We've already mentioned this before, but this series has been like the most of an emotional roller coaster of any YouTube series I've ever watched, outside of like just straight up drama shows, you know?
Yeah.
It's been incredible seeing the history of SNK and all the ups and downs that they've gone through. Slayer reference intensifies. But anyways, if for one odd reason you haven't already, go and support Thorgi. Link top of the description, as always. Oh, also, I am so sorry for those of you who experienced King of Fighters through the movie as your very first experience. That must suck. Anyways, on to the video.
It is time to talk about King of Fighters 15.
Man.
The animation not looking too bad. Hydron is not happy. Oh my.
I don't know if there's music.
Yeah. Not really my thing, but I can respect it if you guys like it.
Once the hour is too late, pride and never gets about their brain. We will pay, take my hand.
Damn. We're not gonna even get animated, we're just 2D stills. Of course, Mai has to be animated though.
You get people visions.
Damn, Terry is looking like such a pretty boy there.
The anime fight jump.
Quite literally.
Since King of Fighters 14, SNK had continued to impress the fighting game community by putting out multiple re-releases of their older games, many of which used rollback netcode so that way they could play smooth online. Then they released a brand new Samurai Showdown in 2019 that was an excellent return to that series. SNK's star was finally rising again, and that meant people were clamoring for the next installment in the King of Fighters. Well, those requests would finally be answered at EVO 2019, when King of Fighters 15 was announced to be coming in 2020. Which did not happen. Now, with almost every King of Fighters, there has been some kind of a crazy backstory to the game's development.
Well, probably also the pandemic and whatnot happening around the time may have shifted schedules.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 2020, a lot of games got pushed back, let's be real.
And some kind of well-documented problems during the pre-production. But King of Fighters 15 is the newest game in the series, having just released a few months ago, so we still don't really know a whole lot about what went on behind the scenes. We do know that the game has staff of around 400 people, which was groundbreaking for SNK. I can't find any other game from them that has staff that...
I mean, SNK has always historically been understaffed for everything, so finally we seem to have a sizable team working on this.
That big, but even with the larger staff, they still ran into problems. However, I don't think that these problems had to do with the budget, or crunch, or meddling from the higher-ups this time. No, the problems this game faced were more than likely due to the fact that they were working on this game in 2020, and 2020 was...
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah. Accurate depiction. Wait, is this from Doom Eternal? Or Doom 2016? Somewhere around there.
I haven't played Doom.
Everything was hindered that year. Due to a global pandemic, everything got delayed as developers had to figure out a way to work remotely, and apparently that hit Japan particularly hard. I've been studying how SNK has worked, and it sounds like a very tightly knit company. It sounds like a company that relies heavily on everyone being there in the office, so they probably had to completely rearrange everything. There were probably no plans at SNK for how to work from home. King of Fighters 15 got...
Oh yeah, I just realized that was Harada on the right there. The guy who made Tekken.
so delayed that we didn't get any news on until the final week of 2020, the year it was supposed to be released. And even then, the news that we got was just, we'll have more news next week.
Season Pass 3!
Yeah, people were starting to get nervous about this game. But then, we finally got the official reveal trailer in January of 2021. And it looked great. The
Okay. Comparatively to what we've seen 3D from SNK, yes, this is a massive step up.
It's a step up from 14, definitely. Is it still behind a lot of other
A little bit, but I can
doing?
maybe understand because we were already behind, plus the pandemic, certainly not helping things.
100%.
It's not the worst looking 3D game out there, though.
I'm like... I think the disservice to it isn't necessarily their 3D models. It's that we've seen the much better versions of a lot of these characters.
We've
from
seen
their 2D sprites.
Amazing sprites for these characters. So,
right.
yeah, it's like they peaked with 13 because that shit looks like, oh my god, this is
I still think a couple
candy.
characters in this game just look clunky in 3D, but...
Well, we talked about that before with the whole translation of the 2D designs into 3D. Like, some of them work better than others. You can certainly tell, like, the new characters that were introduced for the 3D era seem to fit it so much more than some of the like older legacy characters do. But, yeah, SNK are improving. I think City of the Wolves looks great, so I'm very excited to see what they do with 16 whenever that releases.
graphics were vastly improved. The character models looked good. The new stages were full of personality.
I would laugh my ass off if at the Game Awards they announced something new for KOF.
I mean, we're going to be there live, so yeah, hang out with us or see that, because I would be so happy.
Oh boy.
I am a little bit worried about specifically the fighting game award category, because there's actually only one fighting game on there.
I don't actually give a shit about any of the awards. That shit lost all meaning years ago.
Yeah.
But I watch still with the hopes of something cool being announced, but even as I say that, I don't feel like anything cool has been announced in several years either.
We'll see. You never know with these kind of things. It's best to go in with no expectations,
it'll
though.
Be fun to watch the train wreck with all of our friends. So.
Yes, indeed.
It was overflowing with color. People were on board with this new game. And then 1 week later, we got the Shunei character trailer, and people started jumping off board of this game. Yeah, while the first trailer got people hyped up, this Shunei trailer was choppy, being cut so quickly you could barely make out anything that was happening. And out of a 45-second long trailer...
I love watching Maximilian break down fighting game trailers, just because it's fun watching him try to piece together the movesets and everything.
Yeah.
I can imagine a cut like that where it's just like every few seconds it's cuts. You can't even see the full combo. It'd be infuriating.
Yeah. I recall back when we were doing the Ranking the Design video series. I've got to call it a series because goddamn, that took, 12 hours in total? Not even counting the editing?
So long.
Jesus.
So long.
Yeah. It's one heck of a thing. But I felt like the later characters that were released, the trailers for them were just so much better. It felt a lot easier to see what the character was actually doing, and a lot more personality as well from them. The earlier ones were really just like cuts here and there of people fighting, and it just wasn't very interesting, especially to the more casual audience like us.
Yeah.
Less than 10 seconds of it was actual gameplay. This was not good. And it got a lot of people worried because a trailer like this meant one thing. They're
trying to hide something?
We don't actually have anything to show you yet.
Yeah.
However, the next week, the
even if that's not true, that's what it feels like, which is just a bad takeaway to give your players.
Well, SNK and marketing, it's never really been the greatest thing out there, so yeah.
True.
trailer would be revealed, and this was much better. This actually showed gameplay
Yay,
that we
my
could
safety
understand, and it looked pretty good, and it didn't feel like it was edited by someone on a sugar.
Yeah. the move where he just gives you the pillow and then drop kicks you. Oh man.
High during an earthquake. And this would kind of be the pattern of hype for King of Fighters 15 for the next year. Every single week we got brand new character reveals, and we started to see what teams were going to be formed, and we started to see the new mechanics, and this was great. But then the hype would start to die down as we started to get bombarded with one trailer after another every single week, and there weren't as many surprises as we were hoping for. But then we'd get a reveal that would charge us back up again, and it just made the whole year this very strange roller coaster. There were a lot of legitimate concerns that people had about this game. About half a year of trailers went by and we still had no idea how the game actually played or what the mechanics were.
I hate the half a year of trailers went by. Can we not announce games like so far out that the hype for them just dies immediately?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
I know
There's nothing more hype than like it comes out next week or some shit, right? It's like if you save that and build that up, then people are excited and ready to buy it as soon as you announce it. If you make that big announcement, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't
know.
Yeah, I understand it for the corporate side of things, to get more investors on the project, to get eyes on it, to get news coverage on it, just free advertising, I guess. And also to potentially run like beta tests, like what Marvel Tokon is doing. So when the game officially releases, it can actually be in a good state. But
there's definitely benefits to stuff like that. I can see that.
I get it.
I've had a lot of series that I am big fans of that sit there in limbo for an eternity because they announced it 6 years too early.
Exactly. Persona 6, yeah, that's never happening. Imagine it gets announced at the Game Awards, though.
I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yep, yeah, that'll do it. Elder Scrolls 6, anyone? You guys remember 10 years ago or something when they had like a few seconds of a mountain rage or something like that? Yeah, that's happening, I guess.
Right.
Definitely.
Then the game ended up getting delayed again from October of 2021 till early 2022.
2-year delay? Ouch. Ooh.
And yes, you should delay a game until it is ready, and I'm glad that SNK did that.
We announced it too early.
By Yasuki Oda that the reason this final delay happened was because they were trying to put rollback netcode into the game, and that's a great reason to delay a game. You should delay your fine game until it can have rollback netcode. Persona.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I mean that is a funny game that hopefully like the gang will try out. I'm looking forward to that one actually. But we definitely have to finish P3 Reload first, and that's still a whiles away.
I played Arena Ultimax a long time ago.
Oh, you did?
It was fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Because I probably still have it somewhere.
Hell yeah. Maybe we can try it out a little bit.
I don't think it's on a console that I own anymore. I think it was probably on the Xbox. But I could be wrong.
I mean, if it ever goes on sale again, because I think it goes on sale for super cheap nowadays. Yeah, we can always pick it up and play it.
Yeah, it's pretty old now. Yeah.
Get that to us, which means that all the fan base saw was a game that had already been delayed for over a year, getting delayed again. So you can imagine the narrative that started to paint for this game. And these were just the logical concerns. There were also concerns that people had that sounded insane, but they still spread so quickly that it started to poison the discourse around the game. People assumed that this game was going to have over 60 characters, despite the fact that nobody at SNK ever said that, and most of the reasons for people assuming this were based on complete misconceptions. But none of that mattered, because when SNK finally announced that this game was still going to have a starting roster of 39 characters, the third largest non-Dream Match roster the series has ever had, people still thought that sounded too small. Because they were greedy and had no concept of game development. How could it only have 39 characters? It's just using the exact same...
39 characters.
Not gonna say any names, but there are some funny games nowadays that don't even have half of that. Not gonna lie, bro.
moves from the last game. It even looks the same. Except that the game wasn't using the exact same moves. It actually had a ton of balances and updates, allowing for combos that were impossible in the previous game. And as for the people saying that this game looked exactly the same as 14's graphics, there's a lot of people. Liars. They are known as liars.
These are clearly brand new models.
100%. Like this took time and money in order to make these new models. They didn't just reuse the same assets. What are you guys talking about?
These graphics were much better, and there was a reason for that. It's because this game was now going to run on Unreal Engine, just like Oda wanted 14 to do. And if you think that you can just drag and drop the moveset from an existing fighting game into Unreal Engine and now it looks good on its own, hi there, this is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Holy shit, what is that?
Oh, I forgot how ugly those characters were.
I don't know too much about this game. I just know that it sort of moved away from the original art style of Marvel vs. Capcom.
I mean...
and people didn't like it.
Oh, it's ugly. It's so ugly.
Yeah.
And it came out so much later than it... Like, if this was like, I don't know, 10 years old, sure. But it's not.
Brother.
It's not even 5 years old.
That's not my Dante, bro.
Oh, it's so ugly. There's no justification to how ugly these models are.
No.
But it didn't matter if these complaints about the roster size were unfounded. There was already a swirling, growing vortex of concern surrounding this game. So when people started saying, yeah, and why aren't there 60 characters in this game? That was just another thing to add on to the pile. But then...
we see things like this happen so often in so many video games, and then you'll see it in like the community reviews. It'll just be overwhelmingly negative on Steam for some dumbass reason that was just a rumor.
Or something, yeah. Anyone outside of whatever like closed loop that they work themselves up into a frenzy in, it's like, what are you talking about? Of course that wouldn't be a thing or whatnot.
I do think that you do need to have valid criticism and constructive criticism for things that you love, but dogpiling on it to the point where it's overwhelmingly negative, that turns away people who may have been interested in the game initially, because most people ain't gonna go down and read the actual reviews. They're just gonna see overwhelmingly negative and say later, and so your game just ends up dying. Gee,
it's
awesome.
When people review bomb over minute nothing things, it permanently hurts that game for a long, long time, because it is really hard to change that once it's been stuck into that on Steam.
Yeah. And
it does turn away new players, and it does hurt your finances for that game. And it means if you actually like that game, you have shortened the lifespan of that and have a high chance of end of service if you do that. Like, do not review bomb over nothing. Just don't do it. It does not do anything good for you.
I understand the feeling behind it, but yeah, most of the time it just goes overboard. And when a mob of people are trying to do the same thing together, it will always go way further beyond than what you expected it to do. So,
in February 2022, King of Fighters 15 was released, and something incredible happened. Everyone just kind of stopped complaining. Because when people got their hands on it and finally got to play this game, they found that it wasn't just good, it was arguably one of the best King of Fighters ever. All that time and work had paid off. The graphics and character designs looked great, taking the art style of Isuke Ogura, the former game's illustrator and now the game's creative director, and perfectly bringing it to life. The combat did feel similar to KOF 14, but there were now so many tweaks or new mechanics that made the combat feel more creative. It provided you with more options, as things could now combo together that couldn't before, and they made all the normals feel so good, so even if you couldn't pull off the big, crazy life bar shattering combos, just doing 3 or 4 hits felt rewarding. The music was memorable, the supers were big and flashy, they kept the character interactions from the last game, but now they weren't these stiff side-by-side cameras, they actually felt like the characters were there talking to each other. They kept the special edit teams from previous games, except now you didn't just unlock a piece of artwork, you actually got special dialogue between your special edit teams, meaning now you can see interactions between characters who you would never see talking before this, giving you a good reason to go back and replay the arcade mode with brand new teams. And the online experience was... the online is still kind of iffy. I mean, it does use rollback netcode, so when you have a match, it plays great. But the matchmaking system is kind of bugged, so it just sort of randomly matches you against other players of any skill level, or takes forever to find a match when there are indeed people online you could be matching with. So yeah, that was a problem.
I wonder if it's fixed by now. But I never really played online in 15. I just know that playing with Kane usually, if the game doesn't have good rollback netcode, the experience is going to be horrible. But with King of Fighters 15, it was actually like one of the best experiences we've had playing against each other.
Nice.
I could say the same about City of the Wolves as well. So I think SNK in general has just got a much better rollback netcode for their games.
Nice.
But still an improvement from KOF 14. And while the unique mechanics are basically the same as the last game, again, it all feels better. It feels like they took what they created in 14 and improved everything about it. You still had max mode, but you no longer needed to be in max mode to use your EX moves. Just like in KOF 13, you can now use your EX moves at any time by sacrificing some of your meter, but now you only had to use half a bar instead of a full bar, making them far more encouraging to use. And
all I can really say about my experience playing 15 and then going back with Kane to play some of the much older games is that, we've certainly improved on the clunkiness of the gameplay to where a lot of systems feel just more streamlined, and as somebody who's just not very good at fighting games yet, I could still understand what I was doing in 15 a lot more than what I was doing in previous games. So, good improvements overall. I would agree with this, but obviously, my opinion isn't way too much here. That's just how I feel.
Max mode itself is so much better. In the last game, you would activate max mode, so that way you could use your EX moves. But in KOF 15, yes, max mode now costs 2 bars instead of 1, so it is a higher cost. But while you're in max mode, not only are your EX moves free, but level 1 supers are also free. And your level 2 and level 3 supers only cost 1 bar. Meaning, if you do this correctly, you can go into max mode, then do a level 1, link it into a level 2, then link it into a level 3, and still have a full bar of meter left over. And when you pull this off, it is one of the best feelings in any KOF. It is amazing. And max mode quick returns, but they did one small change that makes it such a better system. In the previous game, when you activated max mode quick, it resets your combo. But the timing on it was so insanely tight. Doing an attack, activating max mode, then inputting another attack quickly enough that your opponent is still stunned from your first attack was pretty hard. But in King of Fighters 15, when you activate max mode quick, it freezes the screen for a split second to show your max mode animation. You still have to start up your new combo right after you come out of this animation, but that one tiny little freeze, stopping everything for just a split second for the animation, gives you, the player, a slight moment to mentally reset yourself and confirm what you just did before continuing. And that moment for a mental reset makes all the difference. In KOF 14, to use max mode...
Well, this feels kind of similar to what we saw with King of Fighters 12 and... No, I think it was 12, actually. Where whenever, like, a clash or whatever happened, or, like, you got a counter hit, I think, there would be, like, the dramatic zoom in and then the epic pause for a second there so that you could know you could go in. It gives you a similar feeling to that. Although, of course, like, that half-second pause is just not good enough for me. I don't know how to do any of this. I will miss it. But I'm sure for most people who are proficient at fighting games, that would help out significantly.
Quick, I felt like I need to be perfect. In King of Fighters 15, I feel like I just need to be good. And I am far more willing to use a mechanic I just have to be good for than one I have to be perfect for.
And I will say that
makes sense.
As somebody who doesn't use all these mechanics very well at all, or even remembers to use them, it's still a fun game. Well, because, like, as Thorgi mentioned earlier, it is still very rewarding to get, like, a couple of hits off on your opponent. Because, you know, there's the whole combo multiplier thing, and doing a long combo strings does mean you get more damage, but not, like, a whole lot more. And regardless of your skill level, you can always just do the auto combo in order to dump meter and just do a lot of damage. So, cool shit happens regardless of your level.
Makes sense.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that Max Mode Quick now no longer feels like a pro gamer strat only for top tier competitors. It now feels like a fun toy that I get to play around with. There's also a brand new mechanic called Shatter Strike. This takes the knockback or knockdown mechanic from previous games and basically supercharges it. For 1 bar of meter, you can do a hit that is loaded with armor, and if it connects to an opponent on the ground, they crumple. And if it hits an opponent while they're in the air, they wall bounce. Basically, if you know the enemy is coming in for an attack, spin that bar of meter, and they not only get countered, but they also get set up perfectly for a combo. Hitting with this is so satisfying, and if you successfully connect with it, then you gain half your meter back. So there's even rewards for using it correctly. The Shatter Strike is one of my favorite mechanics in this entire franchise. In fact, looking back at all these mechanics together, speaking as someone who has spent the last 8 months going back and replaying every single KOF game, King of Fighters 15 really feels like it just took so many of the important ideas and elements throughout the series and merged them together in a way that sure might not be perfect, but it's really darn good.
Okay, to be fair, Thorgi did play literally every game throughout the series, so if he's saying this, then you know it's true.
Did you
But
believe
let's
him?
get to
Yeah.
that roster. When this game was announced, they said they would be joining characters together to create some of the most interesting teams in the series history, and... it's alright.
Yeah.
They definitely could have done some more interesting stuff in here, but they could definitely have been a lot safer as well. For starters, we got Team Hero with Shune, Matenkun, and Benimaru. Yes, Shune is now leading Team Hero because it is now official, he is the new hero of this saga. As I said, he was
Well, they didn't know if it was going to get a sequel, but
the
yeah.
hero of the last game. He was certainly the protagonist of the manga, but again, that manga came out 2 years after the game was released. In the game, sure, he was connected to Verse, but that was kind of it. He didn't even win the tournament. That was Team Japan. As I said, the developers were nervous to assign a new hero because they didn't know if they were going to get a sequel, meaning they didn't know if this would be a full-blown saga.
Yup.
But now Shune was heading up Team Hero, and joining him and his little bro was Benimaru, who was asked by Kyo to keep an eye on him and help him learn how to deal with his powers. And Benimaru agreed because if your character is important to the plot, Benimaru's
Benimaru's
there.
going to be there.
But what was Kyo up to? What?
Like, legitimately, this guy is Paul the Ref in design and in role in the story, too. Paul the Ref is just that guy to be there to support you. He is the bro.
Well, after Verse nearly revived Orochi in the last game, he and the other Sacred Treasures said, okay, we need to double check and make sure that seal isn't going to break again. So Kyo, Iori, and Chizuru all finally officially formed Team Sacred Treasures. Yes, for the very first time in a mainline KOF game, the Sacred Treasures were an officially registered team. But was Orochi really likely to come back? Well, why don't we ask our next team?
Team Orochi?
At the end of the last game, we learned that several dead characters were brought back to life, and first up was Yashiro, Shermie, and Chris, who
That's
were
why they're
all
here.
back and
I
ready to
see.
enter the tournament to try and resurrect their dark god, because after coming back to life, what else are you going to do but try and sacrifice yourself again? It's awesome to see these three back in a canonical game, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of wish we'd gotten a little bit more reflection from them. I mean, they sacrificed themselves to their dark.
A little character development may have been nice, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe their goals have changed, their motivations, so we can get a little more
They're
behind
just sitting there
them.
like, well, it didn't work the first time, but I bet it'll work the second time.
Second time's the charm, as they say. Definitely.
God and it didn't work. Shouldn't they maybe have something to say about that? I mean, wouldn't at least one of them stand up and say, I have some questions about that thing that we just did. I don't know, maybe Giant Muscle Man and Lady Who Can't See Past Her Own Bangs aren't quite as philosophical as I gave them credit for. All jokes aside, though, I actually am really happy to see them back. They are a great addition to the game. Next up, a couple of standards. Team Fatal Fury and Team Ikari Warriors remain the same as always. Team Artifying is Ryo and Robert, but now they're being joined by King, making this the first time those three have been on a team together since KOF 2000. And this leads to a very interesting team, because with King gone, Mai and Yuri need a new teammate. So they're joined by Athena. This is a team that people have been wanting forever. They're three of the biggest female characters in SNK's history, and as I said, they had all been put together on that Neo Geo game, so SNK had been continuously teasing this team since the very start. And they renamed themselves from Team Women Fighters to Team Superheroines, and thank God, because that is a way better name. As I said all the way back in part 1, I love the idea of taking whatever cool female characters from SNK you want, putting them all together on a team, but Team Women Fighters sounds like either you're trying to separate the women from the other fighters, or it sounds like a team that specifically fights women. And neither of...
I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, actually true. Technically speaking, that would be what it would mean out of context.
Those are good. But Team Superheroine? That sounds like we're a bunch of kick-ass ladies all working together. That is a much better name. Next, a brand new team, Team GAW, which stands for Galaxy Antonov Wrestling. After the events of the last game, Antonov was sued by everyone injured from First's appearance, and the board of directors from his old company blamed him for the big monster appearing, so he was fired and forced to wander the streets penniless with his assistant Yakov.
Poor dude.
But eventually he met Misha, the young boy whose life he saved when First appeared. Misha's family takes him in and gives him a new lease on life, and now feeling reinvigorated, Antonov joins Ramon and King of...
Okay, I still love the fact that, he's the big tough guy, but he always has, the sweetest stories to tell.
I don't like his look in this game, but I still enjoy him as a character.
Yeah.
From their own team of professional wrestlers. I love this team. As I said, I like Ramon, I like King of Dinosaurs, I like Antonov, but as I've pointed out a dozen times over the course of this series, I love that KOF always gave their fighters their own collection of supporting characters, so seeing Misha continue to be part of Antonov's story really reminds me of that old KOF world building that I enjoy so much. Next up, a team we hadn't gotten since KOF 11, Team Secret Agents, now made up of Vanessa, Blue Mary, and Luong. This is one of the better teams on this roster because it's a very interesting choice for an older team to bring back several fan favorite characters, and it's a unique new combination we hadn't seen before. As for why they're all teaming up, it's all circulating around Hein. Yeah, remember Geese Howard's butler from the last game? Well, turns out Luong has some kind of a connection to him, and Mary wants intel on Geese Howard, so she figures if she teams up with Luong, she might be able to work out some kind of a deal between them. Next up, Team K-Dash returns with K-Dash, Maxima, and Whip. You might have noticed that Kula has gone missing. Well, that's because after all these years, Kula has finally grown tired of K-Dash's sass and said she's out. Yeah, K-Dash being eternally a moody, rebellious teenager was rude to Kula, and Kula being eternally a bratty kid decided to run away from home. Well, where did she go? In the biggest surprise of this entire roster, and oddly enough, an amazing way to bookend this entire retrospective, Kula joined a team with Angel and Cronin. Who is Cronin? He's K9999. Yes, K49 finally returned. Just with a new name and a completely new look, which again, kind of backs up my theory that the reason K49 was removed was simply because they didn't like the way he looked or his name. You change both of those and suddenly there's no problem. Turns out that after the events of the Nest Saga, K49 changed his name to Cronin McDougal, which is a Scottish name, and I am bringing that up for two reasons. One, I would love for some modder out there to mod in an English dub to this game, just so they can give Cronin the thickest Scottish accent you can imagine.
Cronin cursing at people with a thick Scottish accent sounds amazing. I kind of need that in my life.
And two, and this one is just for the big KOF lore nuts out there, Chrysalid, another clone that was created by Ness, was Irish. So you put all that together, and to me it implies that Ness's home base was right smack dab in the middle of the UK, and until I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume it was located on the incredibly mysterious sounding Isle of Man. Come on, a tiny island with a name like that, you know some villain organization has to be hiding out there. But Cronin and Angel had spent the last several years traveling the world trying to keep a low profile and avoiding the surviving Nest agents hunting them down. But when Kula landed on their doorstep, Cronin couldn't help himself as he saw this as the perfect excuse to finally fight K-Dash again. Speaking of characters coming back who we thought were gone forever, at the end of the last game, Kukri found the resurrected body of Ash Crimson and informed Elizabeth about. Hey, guess what? That sounds like 3 characters to me, so let's slap them on a team together. Now, you might expect this team to be entirely about Ash Crimson, but actually, this team continues Kukri's story. In the last game, he had some mysterious motivation and it revolved around Verse. Well, we learn in this game that Kukri was an orphan who was adopted by a mystical woman named Dolores. She taught him her magical ways, including the ability to control the earth.
That,
but
that
this
makes
caused
sense.
Yeah, I mean, they do have similar powers to each other, so I probably should clock that. Did we get that during the character designer ranks video? I forget, it's been too long. Maybe during the interviews or something.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think we kind of clued in incorrectly on Kukui's design when we initially just saw like the splash art. It was only more so during the whole like video that we watched on him, where he was just dancing around doing like weird ass things. Yeah, okay. He's the brooding looking character that isn't brooding at all.
Yeah, and I love it.
Kukui's powers to awaken one day, and they were too much for him to control, resulting in Dolores' death. Kukui then looked through his teacher's research for a way to bring her back, which is where he learned about Verse and its resurrection powers. Such a
so that's
wholesome motivation for such a creepy character.
Gotcha.
You'd think he'd be all dark and sinister, but it turns out everything he was doing was to bring his teacher back.
So was turning Terry into a woman also a part of that plan? The lore goes ever deeper.
Except for the whole kidnapping a
Rewatched.
bunch of women and dressing them in kinky outfits. I don't really think that tied into his big plan.
That was a side quest.
You seriously couldn't just have made an original character to be the villain of that game? Speaking of Kukui's mother, he might not have been able to find her, but she was resurrected by Verse, and she's part of our final team. Team Rivals. Yes, King of Fighters 15 continued the theme of introducing a rival to the new hero in the second game of the saga. Heidern was concerned about what the heck Verse was, so he started looking into it, and he found Dolores, a woman who had spent her life studying Verse and other magical beings existing outside of space and time, and had even been resurrected by Verse.
It's a shame
She
her
tells
powers
Heidern
are really unappealing in this game because she has such a cool design.
I would have 100% mained her if it wasn't for the fact like the mud just ain't doing it for me, man. Damn.
And that Verse is connected to a power source, and certain human beings known as amplified specters are also connected to that power. So if they want to find Verse, they should find another specter. Shune is one such fighter, but they also locate another specter in Chile, a young girl around Shune's age named Isla, who grew up in a cold and hostile orphanage and had become a street artist to try and raise money for the other kids of the orphanage. Isla wants nothing to do with KOF, but when she hears that Shune will be there, that's all she needs to know. She saw him in the last tournament and instantly hated him because he had the same powers as her, but instead of being hated and feared by the adults, Shune had a wise old master guy in him. He had older fighters looking out for him and giving him advice. He had news reporters treating him like a celebrity.
She's
in other
jelly,
words, he was getting all the love and support Isla had never gotten. And this jealousy ends up consuming her until she's willing to join the tournament just so she can fight him. And I actually really dig Isla and Dolores. I think they've got some interesting powers and playstyles. I dig their backstories, and yes, their designs are super busy like Shune, but unlike Shune, everything about their designs work together. They all feel like they fit into one common theme, whereas Shune's design feels like they just said,
definitely. I like Isla more than Shune, but it's still kind of all over the place.
I would agree. I like Isla more. Probably more than you do, but yeah, opinions will differ.
The more I see it, the more it bothers me less. But it still is not my favorite.
I mean, at least it's not Shune.
I don't know, just throw a bunch of stuff together, it'll work out. My only problem with Dolores and Isla is that they're the only two new characters in this entire roster. The only other games to introduce fewer characters were KOF 12 and 13, games that were also criticized for their rosters. However, aside from this lack of new fighters, I actually think this roster is pretty great. A lot of people have complained about not being interesting enough and being too safe, and yeah, there isn't anything really weird in here, and you know me, I love my weird team.
It is a solid roster, though. Like, there are good characters here.
A solid roster of fan favorites, returning teams that we haven't seen in a long time, and two new interesting characters. Yeah. And for a general fighting game, I'd say pretty solid.
And 39 characters, just a lot of characters.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is one that fans kind of, because it was announced so early, built their expectations up so high that it's like, it really doesn't matter what they released with, people were going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, obviously, there is going to be a little bit of responsibility held by the fans, too. but I definitely think it was an issue with the marketing initially of just announcing it that early and so many issues happening around the same time that can't really blame the fans for this one entirely.
But I get what they were going for with this roster. This roster was supposed to be a salute to King of Fighters. You see, King of Fighters 14 was the let's cross our fingers and hope this works game. But King of Fighters 15 was the holy crap, it actually worked! Hey, King of Fighters is back game. And that's what this roster is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the roster that declares KOF is here again. You got the new hero team and the new rivals team. The first time that we've had a hero and rivals team since 2005, so that's a big deal. Then you got Team Sacred Treasure, something that had always been important to the series, but now finally got to be on the main ticket rather than just being a secret team. Then to go up against them, you had the resurrected Team Orochi, so you got the heroes and villains of the Orochi saga all coming together again. Then you got Team K-Dash and Team Cronin being the heroes and villains of the Nest saga. Then you got Ash's team representing both sides of that saga. Then you got a bunch of standard teams mixed with some fan favorites. I think this roster did a great job of capturing every corner of the history of this franchise in one game. Except for Kim. Why the hell is Kim Kapuan not in this roster?
Yeah.
Kim was indeed DLC, unfortunately. He's also not a part of the team. Kim. Pretty sure.
I love Kim.
That's the one big complaint I have with it. This roster is supposed
also, I saw comments talking about, like, we were complaining about, why isn't Kim in the KOF for Girls game? Not gonna lie, completely forgot, Kim is a married man. So, yeah.
You know what? Fair point. I accept that answer.
Fair point, but there were also 2 children on the roster there, so...
Also true.
to celebrate the history of this franchise, and yet it's the first time ever that Kim Kapuan was not here. That is so weird. Now, even though this game was once again part of a dedicated saga, the story was still pretty light, at least by KOF standards.
After going through all these games, Kim might have become my favorite. I do enjoy Kim a lot.
We've talked about this so much now, but genuinely, like, the dude with, like, the most generic design that you could think of for, like, a Taekwondo fighter, actually being one of the most interesting ones. Like, love the dude. Hell yeah.
Essentially, the hero and rivals teams meet in the finals, and the 2 amplified specters clashing on top of all the, say it with me everyone, fighting energy that had built up within the tournament caused Verse to form again, this time coming out of Isla herself, forming into a new monster known as Reverse. You see, it turns out that amplified specters are tapping into human emotions and serve as conduits for them. That's why when Shunei was a child, his powers went out of control, and it's also why when he is surrounded by large crowds, he becomes overwhelmed with anxiety. And it's also why Isla was always so ticked off. And since Verse's powers...
Oh, I see. She actually has a lore reason as to why she's so jelly all the time. You know, fair.
Also come from the same mystical power source, this is why it tried to steal Shunei's powers in the first game, and why it was able to merge with Isla in this game. Basically, amplified specters and Verse are all magic, and magic is powered by people's emotions, so when Verse appears, it causes Isla's emotions to go out of control, and that's why she becomes the new Verse. In fact, she's not the only one to lose control. When Verse appears, Shunei almost goes into a rage, losing complete control of his powers again, until Matenkun and Benimaru step in and help calm him down. Shunei is then able to defeat Reverse, while Isla confronts the real reasons why she hated Shunei wasn't because she just didn't like him, it was because of jealousy. And after facing her own negative emotions, she's able to wake herself back up. However, after beating Reverse, it's revealed that there was a greater power at work here. You see, Reverse was just the opening act. They existed to gather souls, and they used the power of the emotions from these souls to open a gateway to another world where Atoma Raga, the goddess of truth and the mother of all life on Earth, could be summoned to end the world and bring about a new one.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that is one hell of a leap for this game to suddenly take. This game has such little story to it, and then all of a sudden at the very end they just go, here's God. They're wiping out reality. No further questions. Gotta go. Bye.
Sounds like such a classic JRPG move, not gonna lie. Did we even have any setup for this? Damn.
It's like you go through a whole game, like you're 12 hours in, and it's like you're finally at the ending. Actually, it's JRPG. You're 40 hours in, you're finally at the ending.
100 hours in,
you
finally
beat him,
there.
and it's like, oh, surprise jump scare, god of destruction. You gotta take care of this now.
Yeah.
But what matters when it comes to a KOF boss is, of course, the difficulty. How
Holy.
tough is Otomo Raga?
That's a cool design.
That's kind of a difficult question.
Crystal Miku ponytails.
Crystal Miku ponytails. Twin tails, yeah. Oh, neat. I've never actually seen this character before.
Yeah, me either. I'm like, I kind of like it.
Yeah, honestly, I want to take a
top
closer
heavy,
look
but
at it.
in an interesting way. I like it.
Question. When the game was released, she was one of the easiest bosses in the whole series. A lot of people complained that she was something of a letdown, and yeah, I kind of have to
Feels
agree.
bad.
I was taking her out with just one character. She was near the bottom of my KOF boss tier list.
It's like
But
when
then-
Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and the only super boss in the game really was not hard, even remotely. So they came out with Remind DLC, and they were like,
Oh,
"Oh, you want
boy.
a hard boss? Bet we got you."
I believe there is a boss there too. I don't know if it's in the DLC, but doesn't he like steal your item? And if he steals like the
Oh,
full
yeah,
revive
that's what
item, yeah.
You have to go through 13 super bosses to unlock the final super boss, and he is the hardest boss in the entire series.
Holy.
And yeah, he'll steal your health items. He'll steal your revive item if you let him. He'll steal your weapon throughout the thing.
This dude. I mean, regardless, even if she is an easy boss fight, you still look cool. So I can forgive you.
She does look cool. I like
You know,
it.
when making this video, I returned to the story mode for the first time
I
in
was
about
like
4
crystals
months.
in a character design. They look cool.
I mean, yeah, just I guess the way they refract the light. I don't know. It's just a neat addition to the character, and just the way crystals are
Yeah.
formed too. I like it. Aesthetically pleasing to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But then, when making this video, I returned to the story mode for the first time in about 4 months, and somewhere along the line, SNK got mad we were all complaining about her because they buffed the hell out of her. I compared the footage that I recorded 6 months ago when the game got released to the footage that I recorded now for this video, and yeah, you can definitely see a difference. And just to double check this, I asked people online if they also noticed a difference just to get a second opinion. And yeah, everybody seemed to agree she does not play the same as she did when she got released. Something is different now. She has full screen specials and low and high mix-up attacks with nearly 0 frame startup, and she will
Oh,
now
shit.
input read you so quickly she might as well freeze time.
Bruh.
So if you get this game
Oh dang, the red and black version is even cooler.
Oh shit! Yo, that
What
looks
the
sick as
heck?
fuck!
on disc and you don't have an internet
Also
access
great
to
edit, by the
update
way.
it, then yeah, she's easy. If you get the update, well, she's still not crazy tough. I wouldn't put her at the top of the KOF boss tier list, but she is
But
now
still
sitting
actually a
comfortably
boss.
around the middle to upper middle area. But after defeating her, the sky clears up, everything goes back to normal. Clemens Bellamy returns, which I have to point
Of
this
course he
out.
does.
When the monster attacks, he once again says he's here at great risk. I just love the idea that he's trying to turn that into his catchphrase. But Shunei looks out at the cheering crowd and he removes his headphones, signaling that he's
just
starting to be
wonder
able to
when she
deal with
returns.
his anxiety and fears, which is
Oh my
great character
goodness.
growth for him.
Okay, you've taken off the headphones. Now take off a little bit more so that we can have, like, you know, character development within the character design. I don't mean anything weird by that. We just have a few too many elements going on here. And I think, you know,
Yeah.
if in 16, bro actually, like, you know, got a glow up, I would actually appreciate that. You know?
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
appreciate even this design now, and having that being like a lead up to him fully becoming comfortable in his own skin and stuff like that. That'd be
Mhm.
awesome.
Now he just has to win 3 more tournaments, so his outfit can look halfway decent. In Shunei's ending, he learns about how he lost control of his powers as a kid, and that's why his parents left him with Tung Fu. But he says he now wants to go out and explore the world. The King of Fighters tournament exposed him to so many new people, and he feels confident now that he can finally leave here on his own and set out on his own journey. Meanwhile, in the Rivals ending, Isla is sent back home by Heidern, but she says she wants to make a quick stop in China first, clearly wanting to meet back up with Shunei, who she's significantly softened up on. And hey, her teaming up with Shunei in the next game would make for a good team. I'd be on board with that. And they're not the only ones with important endings. Ash reunites with Shinwoo and Duolan, and even though the last time they saw each other, they weren't exactly on the best of terms, they now know why Ash did what he did, and they've decided to forgive him, and they're happy that he's alive again. The three of them and Elizabeth all meet up for Krabs, which was literally what they were doing when they formed their team in KOF 2003, and I think that is a wonderful touch. That is a great way to end Ash's story. Kukri reunites with Dolores, and the two of them decide to go home. Kula returns to Team K-Dash. Antonov starts his wrestling career back up again with big plans for the future.
I just realized from that one shot there, that Kukri's little funny braid thing that pokes through his hood matches Dolores' funny braids. I like it.
Oh yeah, true. They just had the same braids. I never realized that actually. Yeah.
Kula returns to Team K-Dash. Antonov starts his wrestling career back up again with...
Wait, also, isn't
Nice.
Sylvie Paula there too? Is she now gonna be a wrestler? From
Perfect.
idol to underground fighter to wrestler. You know? Wait, isn't that Mian too?
like it.
On the right side there? I don't think she's even in the game. Yeah, she's wearing the mask.
You're right. Did they add her as DLC?
I don't think so,
I
no.
don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
It's been too long since we went through the roster.
Mm-hmm.
With big plans for the future, Leona learns that her father might actually have been one of the people brought back to life by Verse, so she sets out with her team to go and find him.
Nice.
Ryo confronts his father Takuma and tells him that he's lost his passion for fighting, even donning his father's Mr. Karate mask to do so. A nice reference to how in Bariki 1, Ryo had taken over that mantle. Also, in the Art of Fighting ending, we see Ryo's student from Gaora Mark of the Wolves in there, but if you saw our Fatal Fury video, you know that in Japan, his student's name is Marco Rodriguez.
Mr. Butts. Poor dude.
But in English, they changed it to Kushnud Butts. Well, guess what? In this ending, they officially swap his name back to Marco Rodriguez. It's about freaking...
Let's go! Hell yeah, buddy.
He's
Wait,
left the butts behind.
question though. Isn't he still named Butts in City of the Wolves? I guess maybe when he
That I don't
shows
know.
up in King of Fighters, he'll be under his real name Marco here instead of that. 'Cause, I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is. We'll see.
Time. Good call, SNK. Next, in the Secret Agents ending, Luong steals the gem from around Dolores' necklace, and then she gives Mary the intel that she was wanting on Geese. At which point she reveals she wasn't spying on Hein. No, she's working with him. Yes, Hein, the mysterious butler for Geese Howard in the last game, was actually undercover and is trying to find a way to bring Geese down. And he believes Dolores' necklace might have the power to do that. Too bad for him, Blue Mary and Vanessa swapped it out for a fake before Luong left.
Damn.
And the final team ending really worth mentioning is...
Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Because you just have a team of 3 secret agents just all constantly spying on each other and playing against each other and planning ahead for each other. It's just, yeah, that's a pretty neat dynamic.
the Sacred Treasures, which sees them checking on Orochi's seal and find that it's still intact, so they decide to split up and go their own ways again. The scene then ends by cutting to Shingo still training with Saisu, a very nice continuation of that story.
Wait, does he get fire
But
powers
after
finally?
all that is done, after the credits roll, there is one final post-credit scene. All the team endings have a post-credit scene, and some of them are pretty nice. Some of them are nice little continuations of the story. Some of them are nice little one-off scenes that wouldn't really fit with the main ending. But the Team Sacred Treasures one is particularly important, because the final shot that we get after the credits is Kyo returning home and reuniting with his girlfriend Yuki. This is the first time we have seen these two together in a canonical game since he was kidnapped by Ness and went down a dark path looking for vengeance.
But where's your sister? Like, we need the sister to join the roster, please.
True.
Which to me is the perfect way to close out his ending.
This is cute.
It's a way
This
of
is
showing that
cute.
Kyo, after all this time, has finally put the troubles of the past few games behind him, and he can finally get back to his life. Now, I went into more detail about these character endings than I did with most of the games because A, they're way longer than the endings in the other games, and B, they actually feel more important than most of the endings of the other games. I haven't brought this up yet, but the devs at SNK have been referring to this saga as the Shune Saga, but a lot of the fans have been referring to it as the Verse Saga. And personally, I far prefer calling it the Verse Saga because, as I said with the Ash Crimson Saga, when you name your saga after the hero, it gives it this feeling like they're the only ones that matter and it's all about them. And that was a big problem with the Ash Crimson Saga. It was all about Ash. But here, you can tell from these endings, everyone has their own thing going on, and most of them actually progress their characters. The Secret Agents team is involved in this whole situation surrounding Geese. Kukri is trying to reunite with his mother. Leona's dad might have come back to life, and that could mean 1,000 different things for her character. Heck, even the teams that don't matter to verse at all, like Fatal Fury, actually get some progression as Joe Higashi, after nearly 30 years, finally gets a date with Lily Kane. That's not a huge thing, but it does actually progress his story. After the
Everyone's just saying that, like, what?
It's like, what? You actually did what? And Billy didn't kill you yet? Brother.
Like, it feels so...
Also, how is T-Zoc smiling with a T-Rex mask?
Right?
How does that work?
It's got, like, animatronic controls inside.
Oh, God.
So good to have a King of Fighters where every team feels like they matter. Maybe not to the big overall plot of the game, maybe not to the story of gods wiping out reality, but at least they matter to themselves. They matter to the characters, and they matter to the fans. These endings are great. And like I said, the game has only been out for a couple months, but so far it's already received some pretty heavy support. At the time of this recording, 3 teams have already been released for DLC. Team Mark of the Wolves returns for the first time since KOF 11, now going by Team Galro, or as they might as well be called, Team Fan Favorites. Made up of Bijane, Gato, and Rock Howard, who was now not in a side game. He wasn't a single entry character with no ending.
On maximum impact.
He was now on an actual team in a mainline KOF game that had a story and an ending. Meaning there's no more denying it, Rock Howard is now finally canon in the KOF games. And the second team released was the returning Team Southtown, made up of Geese, Billy Kane, and Ryuji Yamazaki. And it is worth mentioning that in their ending, Geese just turns to Hein and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Hein, I know you're a spy. Are you going to fight me or what?" Hein does attempt to face off with Geese, but it does not go well for him. Probably because that gem that he got from Luong turned out to be a fake, meaning that in a weird roundabout way, Blue Mary ended up saving Geese's life. Something I'm sure she doesn't want to think about.
Shit.
And the most recent team to be released was Team Awakened Orochi, which has kind of torn the fan base a little bit because on the one hand, it's tradition. If you got the regular Team Orochi in there, you gotta have their Awakened forms as well. It's just the way it's always been. And these characters play completely different from their regular forms with a totally different moveset. So looking at these characters on a purely mechanical level, yes, they are brand new characters. But looking at them on any level other than mechanical, no, these are not brand new characters. These are characters that are already in the game, and I totally get why some people are upset about that. When you think about all the big fan favorite characters or all the important mainstays of this series who still aren't in this game, I understand why some people will look at an entire DLC.
The base versions look so much better than the Awakened.
The base versions do look a lot better.
I'm sorry. As much as I like the Orochi team, I do not like these just stupid magenta outfits.
They looked so much better when it was pixel art, not gonna lie. Or 2D art, 2D sprites.
Team being taken up by different versions of characters that are already in the game and being a little bit upset about that. However, after them, the final team of Season 1 was revealed to be Samurai Showdown. A team that, as I have stated multiple times, were originally meant to be in KOF 95, but ended up getting cut. So not only does this team finally bring one of the most teased teams in KOF history into reality, but also it means that Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, and Samurai Showdown, SNK's 3 biggest early fighting game franchises, now all finally get to exist within KOF. The team was made up of Nakaruru, Halmaru, the wandering drinking samurai who has been the protagonist of Sam Show since the start, and Darlie Dagger, a shipwright with a giant saw blade who is really awesome and one of the newest Sam Show characters, so it's great to see SNK realizing how much people like her.
Can't wait to learn about Sam Show.
A quick little plug here, but over a year ago we did an episode of our show Build the Roster where I pitched a hypothetical roster for a brand new Capcom versus SNK in which I said there should be a Team Samurai Showdown, and this is exactly the team that I pitched.
Hell yeah.
That's all. I didn't really have anything else to add to that. I just wanted to take a quick victory lap. And the announcements still haven't stopped at Season 1. We don't know yet how well this game has sold, but it's done well enough to get an additional season of DLC.
There's a lot more characters
and so
after
far,
that,
for this
yeah.
second season, they revealed Kim Kap-Wan, making this KOF finally feel complete,
Yes.
and Shingo, who will finally get to return to a KOF game since getting beat up in KOF 11 and then going on a time-traveling journey to get flame powers. I told you all the KOF mangas are wild. I'm just gonna put this out there right now. His level 3 super had better be him unleashing some of those blue flame powers. You know people would love that. But these teams aren't the only bits of DLC that the game has gotten.
The bosses,
In one
yeah.
of the most shocking additions to this game, they also add a free new boss challenge mode, which does help with the lacking single-player content that this game had, in which you can fight a super-powered Rugal. Yes, Rugal Bernstein was brought back to life by Verse, and he has stretched those legs, he's gotten all warmed up and limber, and he is ready to genocide Cutter all over the place. But that brings us to the future of King of Fighters. What is next for the Shun'ei Verse Saga? Well, maybe nothing. Yeah, the moment the future of this saga is kind of up in the air because back in February when this game was released, the developers gave an interview with Famitsu and they said they had originally planned on ending the Shun'ei saga with this game, making it only 2 games instead of 3.
Interesting.
But they said that eventually they changed their minds. Kind of. They still don't know for sure if they want King of Fighters 15 to be the end. And yeah, that's kind of what this game feels like. We go up against the creator and destroyer of all reality. That definitely feels like an end. How on earth can you...
I mean, yeah, but I don't really think there was much of a convincing lead up to this ending to make it be like a send off to the series, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know the sales numbers for 15, and Thorgi doesn't either, but I do hope that 16 is out there. I mean, there's plenty of other potential characters that could show up in these games that people haven't seen yet. King of Fighters is
I'm
alive
sure
again,
there's
so
plenty of things they could do to make a story for 16, whether it's a continuation of this or something new.
I do hope they continue because we've already been improving so much when it came to like the 3D side of things for King of Fighters gameplay as well. And I want to see more.
Yeah, I hope they come out with a 16.
Except that both Hydern and the Secret Agents team say that there is potentially something even bigger and more dangerous inside that dimension that Otoma Raga came from. And yeah, Shun'ei learned to face his fear of the outside world, and he's heading out on his own journey to show his growth. That
There's a
sounds
Shun'ei
like an ending
character
for his
development.
character. But he also wants to go and see his parents again someday, but he's not ready to do that just yet, which means there's still something in his story that isn't resolved. And many other characters feel like they do get endings. Kukri is reunited with his mother, Ash is reunited with his friends, Kyo is reunited with his girlfriend. These feel like perfect endings for this saga. But then you got Leona going out there to try and find her father.
Yeah.
We're not going to get a
resolved,
resolution?
And that's kind of big. And what about Hein and Geese? That's something huge that's still just being set up. And you might have noticed I didn't mention who hosted the King of Fighters 15 tournament. It's a mysterious woman going by Anastasia. And that's all we know. You don't give a KOF host a name and then not plan on doing something with that.
Right?
But I get why
What?
you would want to make this the end, why this saga would only be 2 parts instead of 3. Because back in the day, you could pump these games out in a matter of months. 3 games in 3 years was no problem. And back then, making fighting games loaded with content and a story mode wasn't that big of a concern. You could just spend your 4th year putting out a dream match game with no teams and no endings, just bringing back older characters, and that was enough. But today, this game took 6 years since the last game to come out, and there wasn't even a big crazy scandal behind the scenes. Okay, yes, there was the world-shattering pandemic, but even without that, it still would have taken them 4 or 5 years to get this thing made.
Yeah,
you can't
probably.
really do a
That's an excuse
3-part
to shorten
storyline.
a series like story, like to make it 2 instead of 3. It just takes longer. I don't know. I guess I get the argument for it, but I also think other games do it just fine. So,
Yeah, there are other like very long running games. Like, oh, look at Trails in the Sky, right? They're still going. And how many entries are there? We passed 10, I'm pretty sure. And all of them are like 60 to 100 hours long. So it's like, well, I don't know. I would agree with you there, but it's also SNK. And like business decisions haven't really been their forte.
True.
regardless, at the very least, we do have like some plot threads that we could continue on, which may potentially suggest that they're sort of playing with the idea. Not sure if they fully committed or if they're just like saying in interviews.
They call it like a new saga or whatever and go that direction. I think a lot of these threads could still continue through that. But yeah,
I wouldn't mind if it was like an overarching saga, because technically speaking, we're not specifically tied to Shune in this arc. So Shune can be a part of that arc, but he's not going to be like the main focus of it. We still get to see his character develop though, so I think it's a win.
We see like Kyo throughout all of it and stuff. So it's like, even if he's not like the main character anymore, he can still have his story continue.
Oh, we have the protagonist from all the previous arcs still here, yeah. Everybody can still continue on. Or we can, I don't know, well, we have to have Kyo, but just bring his sister along too, you know? Just have her actually be a character and then start a new plot thread there. Easy.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad either if they didn't give Kyo and just put his sister. Let Kyo have his, like, break
His
with his
happy
girlfriend
ending.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
If they really need him, they could throw him as DLC and that would sell.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
For King of Fighters anymore. That would take 12 years minimum to get through. And you saw how many people complained about the lack of single-player content for King of Fighters 15. No way would they be willing to put out a full-price dream match in this day and age with no storyline and no additional content.
Yeah, I don't
But
think it's
I
gonna
actually
work,
think
really.
I have a solution for this.
I don't
I
think
say
you
make
need to
each
that.
saga moving forward just one game, but then make each pack of DLC the next installment in the saga. Picture this. King of Fighters 16
that.
comes out. It
Yeah.
starts a brand new saga with new teams and a new boss and a brand new hero, and each team
Just
has
throw
their
it more into
endings
the
and their
live
lore.
service model too. Just update it, yeah. Give it.
I mean, effectively, like the 4 releases that they would have year by year nowadays would technically just be DLC. So I guess we just adapt with the times, and if we update like the graphics and the engine just one more step further, make it really solid, and I suppose sort of future-proof it a little bit, then yeah, releasing DLC at your own pace, like 1 a year or 2 a year, I think would work out overall.
It kind of reminds me of, like, yeah, not to go back to Kingdom Hearts, but when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and then they added the super bosses as DLC, a lot of people complain, like, why is this DLC and not a part of the game originally? I'm like, this is just the final mix version, which came out as a separate game that you had to buy at full price back in the day, but they have included half the price as DLC. I'm like, this is a much better strategy going forward than a brand new game with just a little bit of changes.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I think so. I think a lot of people probably just have more of a negative outlook on the word DLC as a whole, because there have been some pretty sorry excuses
out
of
there
DLC.
that aren't worth the price. Yeah. So it's given DLC a bad rap as a whole.
Mhm.
And I agree with that completely.
Yeah, I do too. I just think that, as a lot of people in the comments have also pointed out, that effectively they would be called DLC nowadays, but before then fighting games would have like Guilty Gear XX, Guilty Gear Xrd, Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 and shit like that, and those are basically just DLC, just using the same characters and same sprites with updated mechanics and graphics and whatnot.
But then you buy the DLC pack for $30. And now, when you start the game up, you have 2 options on the menu screen. King of Fighters 16 and King of Fighters 16 Ultimate Battle, or Championship Edition, or whatever you want to call it. King of Fighters 16 is the game that you already own. King of Fighters 16 Ultimate Battle takes about 80% of the characters from the first game, but then you rearrange the teams around to create brand new combinations, and it introduces 6 to 8 brand new characters, and now you have a fully formed new roster with brand new teams. There's
to get all the things you want without having to have a separate menu for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is just a suggestion from Thorgi. But regardless, I think the base idea makes sense, especially with the gaming industry nowadays. Yeah.
New boss fight in the arcade mode, and each team has a brand new unique ending that progresses their story further. Then another year goes by and you put out another DLC pack called King of Fighters 16 Final Edition, or something much more catchy. And then you do the exact same thing there. You turn the game on and you got KOF 16 Classic with the original roster and story. Then you got KOF 16 Ultimate, which has the second installment. And then you got KOF 16 Final with, again, a large collection of characters from the other 2 versions, as well as a decent handful of new characters making new teams with new bosses and endings to wrap up the story. I've pitched this idea on Twitter before, and I've had people tell me that would be too confusing and too expensive, but I'm literally just pitching 2 seasons of DLC. We already have this. Just now, you'd get brand new story content with new characters.
It's confusing is the menu system. I don't think that's necessary, but I do agree with his idea as a whole.
If we wanted to tell more story with the DLC, I think you could probably just apply that to the campaign itself. Like, there's a part 2 to the campaign that you unlock with the DLC. Yeah.
So that way you could once again have a full 3-part story that comes out yearly. Plus, we could get more interesting teams this way. Listen, the Ikari Warriors and Team Fatal Fury are going to be the exact same team unchanged until the end of time, because when these games can only have 1 installment every 6 years, you don't really have the leisure of getting that weird with the staples anymore. But let's say you put out KOF 16 and it's got all the standard teams. Team Fatal Fury is exactly the same, Team Japan is exactly the same, Team Ikari Warriors is exactly the same. But then you sell people the DLC packs, and in those, you can completely change the teams around in new, interesting ways, because if anybody wants the standard teams and the standard characters, they're all right there in the standard original release.
What they would probably do, if they would put out DLC story like that, rather than a separate menu like he proposes, you just make the custom team with that specific set and have a special ending with those ones. That's not that hard to add in.
Yeah, I feel like that sounds like a lot more practical, and we kind of already have that with the special edit teams and their endings here. So it wouldn't be like outside the ballpark of what SNK has already done.
And in the era of the internet, it would not be hard to be like, these are the new endings if you use this new team with these characters.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess it would be kind of neat, though, if there was like a UI change when you went to like a part 2, and then you could see like the teams swap around. Or like a story thing actually happened, causing them to have to swap around and join each other in a fight against whatever.
I guess, a
lot of different ideas you can do there.
Teams, for anyone thinking, well, you said that in order to shift these teams around to create some new combinations, some characters would be cut from King of Fighters 16 Part 1 for the DLC Part 2. What if I want to form a team made out of characters from Part 1 and Part 2 who don't exist in that same version? Simple. If you buy any DLC pack, then you also get a free mode called King of Fighters 16 Dream Match.
Yeah, I feel like this is convoluting it a little.
But when you add DLC characters, I don't think that would necessarily mean that the other characters just die. Like, right? Like, they're still probably going to be there. They're just going to be swapped into other teams.
I think you can do what he's proposing pretty easily without needing these separate menus, but
yeah,
I like the idea.
I like the general idea, just we don't really have to give it all these different titles for it. We can just swap things around for a part 2 or a part 3 or a part 4.
Thorgi's not a game engineer.
Yeah, neither am I.
It is
so.
a good concept. Yeah. I mean, I'm not either.
I mean, at the very least, you have some experience working in the game industry, so.
There's no story, no teams. You just get to fight with any character from any of the versions you own. If you buy the original release of the game and then you buy the first DLC pack, you can fight with any of those characters combined. If you buy the first version and the second version and the third version, then you can play with every single character together. And of course, the Dream Match mode would have an online mode, so that way you could go online and fight with every single character. And most importantly, this is a way to carry on the tradition of the Dream Match without having to charge people for a brand new installment of a game that just used all the pre-existing characters. It's just a suggestion. I'm not saying SNK has to do this, but if we want these sagas to have 3 parts from this point forward, as well as the Dream Match, yeah, they need to think of something, because just having them all be individual releases is not going to work, and this is about as good of a suggestion as I can come up with. Now, speaking of the future, as I said, this game just came out. It's only about half a year old at this point, making this the most recent game that we've ever covered in Retrospective, so I can't really talk about the impact.
The terrible DLC that everyone hated.
Oh, wait, which one was that?
The dude, I forget his name. I don't know.
I don't know. But,
Or is that a different game? Am I confusing King of Fighters and Fatal Fury again?
Yes, you are.
It's possible.
You're thinking of City of the Wolves. You're thinking of Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Completely different game. Still SNK, though.
I'm still... Yep. Okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
Carry on.
Game has had or how well it sold. but it was the 4th most attended game at EVO this year, meaning that it had enough competitors to be featured on the main stage during the finale. Something I haven't been able to say about KOF games since, I think, ever. And the fan reaction has been very positive. It had a high...
Genuinely, though, some of these KOF 15 matches are so fun to watch because of these high-level professional players and the types of interactions they can do with each other, seeing the different plays.
I
and
believe that.
I guess mind games that happen. It's insane when you see like somebody randomly swap to a character like they've never actually played before because they have a strategy specifically for this particular matchup they prepared for. Yeah, it's really fun. And it's kind of fun because of the team strategy, because of the unique aspects of King of Fighters and the ordering in which you send out your fighters that is able to allow that.
Premiere on Steam. Its online scene is okay, nobody's perfect. But the important thing is that it's one of the biggest premieres that KOF has ever had. And it's not the only big leap KOF has made in the last few years. We have seen SNK characters guest starring left and right in other games. I cannot tell you how much interest in KOF skyrocketed when Terry Bogard got added to Smash Bros. And Masahiro Sakurai proceeded to put on a 40-minute free commercial for SNK because he is a man of culture who loves the hell out of these games. And over the past few years since KOF 14 came out, I have seen that same love spreading and growing to a brand new audience, an audience I include myself in. And it's an audience that spans the entire globe. I have mentioned several times throughout this series about the impact that King of Fighters has had on so many different countries across the planet, and that has continued to be true with these latest installments. When King of Fighters 14 was featured at EVO, 6 different countries were represented in its top 8. That is a level of diversity and representation that you do not get in any other fighting game.
It was super interesting to learn about why King of Fighters ended up being super popular, like internationally more so than in the States. With all the different like tax regulations and shipping and whatnot that happened, and it's sort of becoming a core part of many people's childhood. And a lot of you guys even telling us about how you know, go visit the local store. There was only like one arcade there, and the only thing they had on there was King of Fighters, and everybody would be lining up to play that. Like, that was fun to see. Yeah. Thank you so much, too, for sharing your stories. But yeah, you don't really see this for any of the other fighters, because I guess everybody was really just Japan and America only. And everywhere else, like, if you picked it up, then I guess cool. But I don't know. I guess we haven't also learned about that many fighters yet, so we don't know about like the widespread popularity of something like maybe Tekken, maybe Street Fighter. But when you see like the top level players there at EVO, it's usually Japanese or American players. But here, yeah, there's a lot of diversity.
I don't know fighting games in general, but a lot of times in big tournaments, yeah, it's like the States, it's Japan, it's Korea.
Yeah, something like that.
That is incredible and speaks to how this franchise has always been and continues to be so important to so many different people across the entire planet. Folks, when I started this retrospective at the beginning of the year, I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it would be a long, winding road covering one trouble after another. It would be the story of a company that kept being beaten down time and time again. But I knew it was going to be worth it. Because I knew this is what it was all leading to. I knew that in the end, it would be a story about a company that was run ragged and faced so many losses and was passed down from one corrupt owner to another. But in the end, it would be the story of a company that learned who they were, that learned what to focus on, and came out the other end of all their troubles better and brighter as they slowly built themselves back up into the company and the franchise that they were always meant to. Are you f***ing kidding me?
I knew it. I knew it was coming. You knew it too. We all knew it. Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, I probably completely butchered that name, has now acquired almost all of SNK. 96% of acclaimed Japanese developer SNK he owns. And another reason why Ronaldo's in City of the Wolves, so yeah.
It's so funny that, you know, whenever you hear like people talk about the scammers and stuff, there's always the joke of like the oil prince coming out and being like, "Oh, I accidentally gave you $1 million." Like to have the literal like the prince coming and buying up
The
SNK.
crown prince bought SNK. Yeah, money speaks. And we're back here. Is this your happy place, Thorgi? Where is this? I'd like to visit this someday. It looks nice.
It looks nice, yeah.
You can sit there and just think about SNK and all the things they've done and all the things they're probably going to do. I hope. Please.
Mm.
Please just stay alive, man.
So, yeah, this has been an incredible experience. Making this retrospective has been one of the biggest undertakings of my life, but also one of the most rewarding. I have enjoyed it so much, and since it started, I have been looking forward to this finale and leaving off on a positive note and talking about how much SNK turned everything around. But then, as we were making this series, between episodes 2 and 3, SNK was purchased by a new company. They were bought for over $600 million, which, if you want to know how much SNK has worked over the past couple of years...
I mean, comparatively to how SNK was bought last time, for only like, what, 50 billion or something like that? That's a big upgrade.
To turn everything around and build itself back up. In 2015, they were bought for $65 million, and now after all their successes, it raised their value tenfold. That's very impressive. But they were bought for over $600 million by the EGDC, the Electronic Games Development Company, a Saudi Arabia-based organization designed to help bring the gaming market to Saudi Arabia and train future game developers. Okay, that's a fairly large shift, but teaching people about game development and bringing game jobs to a part of the world that was lacking this industry, not the worst thing I've heard. And the EGDC did work with SNK to create Naj for King of Fighters 14, so they already have a relationship with the company.
Oh yeah, there you go. We did know about this when we learned about her specifically during the character designer ranks video, because a lot of you guys have comments about that. But yeah, this was like a fan voted design essentially for Naj, and yeah, she's really cool. I like her.
And EGDC is owned by the MISC Foundation, a non-profit organization designed to help bring entertainment jobs to Saudi Arabia and invest money into television, movies, and other such entertainment establishments in the region. Hey, non-profit sounds good, and I'm in favor of people investing in television and film and other arts. That doesn't sound bad. And the MISC Foundation is owned by Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who has a laundry list of human rights violations, including imprisoning peaceful protesters and killing journalists.
Ah.
That's bad.
That's a little bit of a turn. Yeah.
I see. At least it's not pachinko.
Is that where we are now?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Evil is evil. It's like, we're still alive, I guess. But yeah. I now understand a lot of the ominous messages you guys have been leaving. No, Zero. It's even worse than you think. Well, damn.
I really do not want to talk about this because, as I said, this retrospective has been an incredible experience, and working up towards that positive ending kept me going for months. But when this deal was made, it turned what was a fun salute to a series I love into a source of anxiety, as every single day people were tweeting or emailing me to make sure I knew about, make sure I knew all the horrible things that Salman had done, and in one particular instance of insanity, actually sending me a fully written script on the subject and demanding I read it word for word, which I will not be doing. I also didn't want to cover this because I have seen a few people talk about this online, and some people have made some very good points about it. While other people have just used this as an excuse to be really xenophobic, and boy do I not support that. I can see that too. But I do believe it is important to know who owns what company, and I do believe that's something that you should know before you make a purchase. And I have had so many people over the past few months telling me that they are now interested in KOF, and they want to get into this franchise, and that is great. but I would feel kind of guilty if I got that many people into this game and then didn't share this latest breaking news.
Okay.
It's quite unfortunate, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Where it's like, if you trace literally anything that you purchase, like far back enough, especially electronics, there's probably some not great people who own that thing that you're giving money to. And so I can understand why
It's
some people...
hard.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you see similar things in other medias too, but it's like your money's going to go to a lot of people and a lot of not great people just by nature of how the economy works and how business works.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know that a company is owned 96% by a guy who is going to do some pretty horrific things with your money, presumably, that's a rough one. It's like, because there's the whole like separate the art from the artist thing, and that's something that I do agree with to an extent. But it's like, to go on the other spectrum of politics, right? When so much of your money, when you buy like Harry Potter, goes to J.K. Rowling, and she goes out of her way to use her money to control the European courts and have laws passed that do like shut down a lot of human rights for people. That's tough. It's hard to like separate the art from the artist in aspects like that, where you're like, I don't think I want to give my money to that anymore. And it's easy because I don't particularly care about Harry Potter to begin with, but it's like, I can see that being really tough for big Harry Potter fans. I can see that same thing here, where it's like, when you something that you love, like King of Fighters, but then you know that your money is going in something that you don't agree with, that's just a hard dilemma that I can't give an answer to you. That's something that you have to look at yourself and be like, does my $60 or whatever, does that matter? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a tough choice. I can respect people for whatever decision that they make. Regardless, though, just narrowing down our field of view here, I still want SNK to exist. I still want them to make games.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
There's no good answers.
Yep. There
It's
ain't
an
no good
unfortunate
answer.
situation.
But yeah, as I said before, personally, I'm kind of in the position of like, well, regardless, it's got to go to somebody bad. So I'll support the things that I think I would enjoy and I think would better my life. And I'll just make life simple for myself, you know?
I can agree to that too, because I think I'm kind of in a similar place. It's like, I would rather, in my head at least, picture that my money goes to supporting the artist who created the thing that I care about. So like in this case, the game designers, the game developers, like the actual human people that sit down and make the thing that I love. It's like, I know it's going to go other places too, and I can't separate that.
I am quite literally recording this video on a Windows computer with a NVIDIA graphics card in my PC.
Same here.
So, like,
this is why I think I definitely find myself, I'm a weird cross-section of nihilism and optimism. It's like, if it's all bad, I'd rather just look at the little bit of good that I can, right?
Right, yeah. That is an interesting perspective. I understand that, actually. Funnily enough, in Buddhism, you know, we like to look at the positive side of things while also understanding that life is suffering. Like, this shit sucks. Yeah. And that's why we do everything that we can to escape that, or not get attached to it and, you know, continue the cycle of life and death. So I understand that viewpoint completely. So yeah, I'm of that opinion of like, shit sucks, but I gotta live. And I want to enjoy things here. I want to do the things that I want to do to achieve the things. And this is kind of the path to that. So yeah, it is what it is. But of course, once again, respect your opinions. Whatever you guys want to do with your money, feel free to do so. Like, that's not our business anyways. It's just important to know that this is what is happening.
It's an important thing to discuss. But yeah, ultimately, your own choices, your own finances, your own entertainment.
Exactly.
Those are your calls and your morality to decide for yourself.
Yep.
Essentially, in 2016, Mohammed bin Salman, a man who gained the majority of his money from oil, realized that oil won't last forever. He also realized that Saudi Arabia has a pretty bad image in the rest of the world, So he launched a project called Saudi Vision 2030, designed to make a push to improve the country's image in the media while building a new entertainment empire. And since then, he has purchased sports teams, entered into a 10-year-long relationship with the WWE, and invested a ton into video games and esports, including buying 5% of Capcom and Nintendo, and completely buying out SNK.
I mean, I guess Capcom is just way too big for him to buy the entirety of it, I suppose.
Oh,
But,
yeah, probably.
Now, this just happened. Sure, they did own stocks in SNK since the end of 2020, but they didn't have controlling interest, meaning that they didn't have the power to really change
96
anything.
is an absurd
Now
number.
they own 96% of the company,
That's
meaning
like,
it's all there.
I don't even know how you get that other than just buying them outright. I guess.
Yeah, how do you get that? I guess you just convince other people to sell it to you.
Oh no, yeah.
Through many business deals.
I'm not that deep into the stock market, so I couldn't tell you, but yeah,
Enough
that's
money
crazy.
speaks, and 600 million is a lot, so...
It is a lot, yeah.
And again, this just happened. We have no idea how this is going to affect SNK. Oda said that everyone from the MISC Foundation is very enthusiastic about fighting games and said that they have been mostly hands-off so far, and the only
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, the people within the organizations that are a part of that, there's probably plenty of good people there who really want SNK to succeed and all
It's
that.
like a lot of those things like I support, like entertainment industry, like money towards that, and like like building finance in entertainment. I think those are great things. But yeah.
The only real change that's gone on is that they have opened up a new office in Tokyo. So, okay, on paper, none of that sounds bad, but who knows how that could change later on. But future plans aside, that's not really the problem that many KOF fans are facing right now. Because this could lead to SNK seeing booming sales and popularity like never before. Or it could lead to the next big SNK collapse and they could sell off all their titles again and KOF could vanish for 20 more years.
Yeah.
We don't know. But no matter what happens,
Very plausible.
there's now this uncomfortable moral quagmire to KOF because
I love this edit of this uncomfortable moral quagmire, and it's just Billy Kane
Just Billy Kane.
holding Joe hostage. You calling my sister, bub?
no matter what happens with these games, in the back of your mind is now that knowledge that, oh right, this is owned by a really, really bad guy. And as I said, a lot of people have asked me to talk about this, and I get it, this is important. But I don't think most people have wanted me to talk about this just to make sure everyone is informed. I think that when something like this happens, most people just want an answer. Most people want someone to come in here and say that one thing that will clear it all up and make you realize, oh, it's fine. Everything is going to be good and I can still enjoy this without that moral muckety-muck and everything is going to go back to normal.
That's not how the world works.
Yeah, I hate telling you folks this,
Unfortunately.
but I ain't got that answer. Because I have looked at this from every angle,
think
I've
that
studied the
answer
subject
exists.
up and
Yeah.
down, and I've written this script about 4 or 5 different times, and even tried going off script twice and improving this final part
Yeah, I
in hopes
can't
that
imagine
something
from
brilliant.
Thorgi side having to script this video with this in the conclusion hanging in the air. That's gotta be
There's got to be a lot of pressure too behind the scenes as well,
Yeah.
because he did mention that so many people messaged him about this, and somebody even wrote like a script for him to talk about it. So it's like,
when you're someone with such a high position like Thorgi talking about this, yeah, people are going to look to him for that answer, obviously, like you said. And there's no answer to give, and that's going to upset a lot of people, I think. That's
yeah, there's really only
feel
opinions here.
that
There's no
sucks.
right or wrong. Yeah.
Will accidentally spew out of my mouth, but in the end, my answer is, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's fair.
I don't know what to say about this. After all of this, I have no idea what to say. And believe me, I'm not saying that because I'm trying not to upset anyone by taking a side. No, this is the internet. The only thing that's going to get people more upset at you than taking a side is not taking one.
Is not taking a side. Yeah, oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Sitting on the fence in regards to any situation is going to make everybody hate you. And that's just how it
There is
is.
no middle ground on the internet anymore, and that's not a good thing.
Nuance is dead, man. And if the other person
Yeah.
does not have the exact same opinion as you, you need to hate that person with every fiber of your being.
Mm-hmm.
I need to say mean things in the comments because they have a wrong opinion. And mine is obviously right because it's my opinion. Yep,
Yeah.
that's just how things are. It is what it is.
And I'm not saying I don't know because I don't think this is important and it's not worth talking about. Oh no, this is important and it is worth talking
Very.
about.
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't know what to say because I don't know what to say. Sometimes
Yes,
the
that's
world
fair.
just sucks.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
that's
it does.
all I can really say about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks. And believe me, I've heard the arguments that everyone has made about this, and honestly, I don't think anyone is really wrong, and I think everyone has at least something of a point. I've heard people say that they want to boycott SNK now because they don't want their money going towards Salman, and yeah, that's a totally valid stance to take. But I've also heard people say that because Salman is a billionaire who gets the vast majority of his money from other sources, and because he doesn't own SNK, instead he owns the company that owns the company that owns SNK, and SNK brings in such little money compared to other big video game developers, it means that boycotting SNK would have zero effect on Salman, and instead would just harm SNK.
SNK.
And yeah, that's also a valid point to make. And I've also heard people say that you can't worry about this because everything is owned by someone evil today, and you would go insane trying
That's
to
my
focus on
stance.
that. And yeah, that's certainly true.
When you fill your car with gas, that money ain't going to good people. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to.
It's yeah. God, yeah, I mean, even fucking the taxes you pay in your country, it's like
Going to my
a lot of that
government,
doesn't
they're
make it where
definitely
it's
going to do
supposed
good
go.
things with it. Yeah, definitely. I trust my government. Ah,
There's no winning. Yeah. That's again, I go back to nihilistic optimism. If it all sucks, I want to just find the few things in it that I do enjoy, I guess.
yes. I agree with that stance 100%. Just be happy. Do what you want to do. Live life the way you want to live it.
Yep.
As long as you're not hurting anybody else directly, then go and do it. Yeah.
As long as the gun isn't in your hands.
I mean, it goes back to the argument. Regardless of whatever you support, it's got to lead to something somewhere down the
Yeah.
line where you maybe have a
Yeah.
little bit of an indirect responsibility for it happening. But like, how are you supposed to know?
Right, yeah.
Worrying about all that stuff is going to be okay, legitimately, the only way to live life without hurting anything is to be in a white room and just like jacket yourself up and just stay there for the rest of eternity. The only person you're going to be hurting is yourself, which I don't recommend. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks.
I laugh through the pain. I don't
If you've bought sneakers, a cell phone, or drank a Coke, then you've given
Yes,
money to someone
yes.
evil who's going to do something evil with it, and God help you if you bought any of that stuff on Amazon. So
Oh
yeah,
my
I
goodness.
totally
Yep.
understand people arguing that.
Well, it's like
And I
all
also-
the like environmentalists and like vegans talking about farming and all that, and then they go and buy a bunch of almonds. It's like, do you know how much water goes into one almond and how terrible that is for the environment?
We're all hypocrites. The sooner we accept it, the better. Just live life.
I also understand people arguing that shoes, phones, and beverages are more necessary to your daily life than video games, so it's not really a fair comparison. And I should also point out that I've been contacted by people who have argued that this is a positive because the Middle East has a very active fighting game community, and it's a community that never gets any attention. And this would
Nice.
help to bring focus and representation to a community that has largely been ignored.
Yeah, these communities have done nothing wrong. Well, I mean, I don't know, but like as an overview, right? Like, I do
Yeah.
want to support this happening.
You can assume, yeah. I can assume that good can come from it too. Like, good and bad are not a vacuum. You cannot have just pure good and pure evil. There is always going to be a mixture of all of it into a weird cacophony.
There are definitely certain individuals in this world who you can say definitely tend way more towards evil than any sort of good. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean, you can look at like all of our billionaires who, are definitely all the greatest people to ever exist, which we know
Definitely.
for sure.
Mhm.
And they definitely give a lot of money to charity for the best of reasons, right?
The best of
That money
reasons that
still
may have something to do with
theoretically
tax,
is
but
going to
yeah.
help a lot of people. So it's
Yeah.
like, is it a bad person with bad intentions? Sure. But it still has helped people, and that is still net good. I don't know.
It's an argument that can go any which
You
way.
can't win. Yeah, it goes on forever.
So, yeah, thinking about it, probably just a waste of time at this point. Like, the
Yeah.
world has become so complex that it's impossible to navigate it perfectly. You just gotta live it. Just
Yeah.
do it. Like Shia LaBeouf. No, not Shia LaBeouf. What the hell? Not Oblivion's D&D character. Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, go. Just do it.
In the famous words of Shia LaBeouf.
And I totally understand why that would mean a lot to people and why that would be a good thing for that audience. But was there no other company that could have made that happen?
If
Did
only.
it have to come from a guy who's done things I can't mention here because they would get this video demonetized? And I could keep going. Like I said, I've rewritten this part of the video 4 or 5 times, and each time I start picking apart the situation, it just gets longer and
I'm
muddier
glad I'm
and
not
more
Thorgi in this
depressing.
situation, yeah.
But in the end,
Same.
I just don't really have any answers about. I've thought over myself a lot over the past few months, and as of right now, yeah, I'm going to keep buying SNK games. Again, totally understand someone out there not wanting to buy them, totally understand someone
Exactly.
disagreeing with this. But I'm going to keep playing KOF because so far the devs feel like they still are independent and still have control
devs
over
are
their
still people.
product. And it
That's
feels
what
like
I said. It's like,
Salman
I
doesn't
still
really
want to
have any.
support the individual artists, the individual creators who put their blood, sweat, and tears into the product, right?
Yeah. I want this to exist.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Well, for whatever ramifications that may have in the very long run, I don't know, but I love these games, man.
Yeah.
Impact on these games
Yeah.
yet. But it does now suck
Yet.
that every time I talk about these games and get excited about the newest title coming out,
That's always going to be
it's
in the
going
back
to
of your
come with
mind.
that big ass asterisk slapped on it. And it will come with the knowledge of who is sitting at the top and that what SNK has going on now and all its good fortune could change at any time.
Those are the kind
And
of
after all-
places where the whole, like, ignorance is bliss kind of thing. So it's like, if you didn't know who owns it and who's like at the back end of that, like you do with like when you buy a Coke or something, right? You don't know who the evil villain is behind that product that you're buying, and it's better that way because you don't want to know. Because then every time you consume it, you have to think about it. Or it's like, yeah.
Now you have stared into the abyss and it now stares back at you. You can't shut it away anymore. It's always gonna be there. Yeah.
All the ups and downs after going through the makings of every single game and talking about the struggle that this entire series has had to go through just to exist. It sucks that I have to conclude things by saying that once again, the future of
don't
KOF
know.
is very,
It's unknown.
very uncertain.
Great ending. Honestly, what other ending would there be for SNK? Okay, let's be real here.
Right?
History just repeats itself with this company.
But I'll tell you something I am certain about. Yeah, I won't lie, this news, well, it isn't great. And I've basically spent the last 4 months drained having to talk about this because that is not the way I wanted to leave things. I didn't want this whole celebration of this franchise to lead up to just a big downer ending. But after doing this retrospective, after looking back at the long history of KOF, I've realized something. After learning the stories of this franchise and going through the ups and downs of every single game, I know that SNK and KOF are going to be fine. They might not be fine today, they might not be fine tomorrow, they might not be fine a year from now, or 2 years, or 3, or 5, or 10, but they will be okay. And do you know why? Because King of Fighters has been one of the longest running fighting game franchises in the world, having had more installments and spin-offs than any fighting game we've ever covered on these retrospectives or any game we will ever cover. And is that because of its massive record-breaking sales and the highly profitable name brand value of its titles? God no! These games sell for scrap! Even their biggest successes still dwindle behind other fighting game releases. When Terry Bogard was added to Smash, people thought he was a grown-up Pokemon trainer. Most of the people watching this video right now had no idea who Kyo or Iori were when this retrospective began.
Okay, I'll be honest. Yeah, I was kind of in that same group of not even knowing SNK was a company. I thought it was like some sort of game. So
I knew of King of Fighters and Fatal Fury. Like I said, I still get them confused. So clearly that hasn't completely cleared up for me. But it's like I had seen a lot of these characters around, but I definitely did not know much about it, or even that they all came from here.
compare this to Street Fighter 6 that sold like 6 million copies worldwide. It's like kind of night and day. Yeah, but yeah. What can I say? Like, these devs, they will just rise from the ashes every single time, man. They are so tenacious, even when their own boss is trying to sabotage them.
Turn them into pachinko.
Somehow, we've come back. So in some way, in some form, maybe not even under the name of SNK in the future, who knows?
Who
They'll
could
come back.
Yeah.
This series has not survived because SNK had money, and when they did have money, they typically used it to buy a gun and then shoot themselves in the foot. No King of Fighters has survived for all this time because KOF is and always has been the rock on the shore. It has been pounded and battered with
Oh my
weight.
god. Genius editing here. We've used this one image to come here and like reminisce about SNK as a company, but it was actually foreshadowing to this.
Genius.
Waves after waves for years, but still survived. Even when it was buried so deep by the water that you couldn't even see it, it was still there, waiting for the tide to go out so it could return. And why is that? What's the secret to King of Fighters' longevity? It's because of two things. First is the dedication of the developers over at SNK. These are people who have always fought and struggled to make magic out of nothing. No matter what resources they had to pull from,
Legitimately.
they kept these installments coming, running on pure enthusiasm and a crazy adventurous spirit that encouraged them to keep trying again and again and again. The team is making King of Fighters were always united by a passion that I have not seen almost anywhere else in mainstream gaming. Oh, our company is going out of business? Well, screw it. We're going to put every single possible SNK guest star we can into this final game. I don't care if
Right?
they're tossing us out of the building as we're programming
Crazy.
it. This game is getting made. Oh, SNK went bankrupt? Well, then we're going to pick everything up, move to another company, and buy the games back one by one ourselves. It's going to take us a year and a half to draw the sprites for this new game, then we're going to make them the best looking sprites you have ever seen. Our company is giving us no money and no staff to try and resurrect their gaming division, then we are going to make this the biggest installment the franchise has ever had.
Crazy.
The sheer passion and dedication of everyone who has worked on these games has pulled off miracles time and time again. Think about this.
Yep, and those are the people
Midway
I want to
went
support.
bankrupt.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was just the end of Midway. Mortal Kombat went to Warner Brothers, and that's all, folks. Midway was done.
About to be acquired by Netflix, too. So I don't know about the future of Mortal
Deeper.
Kombat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're
One
gonna get is
can
a
hope.
weird Netflix live action series that everyone hates. Surely.
Netflix does have a gaming division for mobile games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you seen it?
I'm not even a Mortal Kombat fan yet. I know that there were some really funny scenes there, and I kind of want to see it now, but like, damn, things ain't looking too good, man.
Konami fell for the trap of Pachinko Vacation, and they're just gone. No more games except for the ones that everyone hates. SNK has gone bankrupt and fallen into Pachinko Vacation twice, and they're still here. And hey, I ain't trying to say what we're heading for now with SNK is just like that. I'm not saying it's the same. This is a whole new territory. But what I'm saying is that KOF is tough, and the KOF developers are tougher. Rough times may be ahead, but KOF is going to survive.
It just makes me think of the reporters saying, like, we're still alive. Legitimately. Now I understand exactly what Thorgi meant by that, why it hit him so hard. Yeah, We're still fucking alive after all that shit. Everybody else went through the same thing. They died. They gave up on this.
Yeah.
We're still here.
But SNK and KOF's success hasn't just been thanks to the developers. No, because you see, the other big factor in KOF's history, the other thing keeping this series going after all this time and after so many stumbles, is you. It's the fans. And I am not saying that to try and suck up to the audience. I am not saying that for some cheap applause. I'm saying that because it's true. While going back and replaying all these games and delving into 100%. The mechanics and the stories and the development of each game, I came to appreciate...
You've got passionate devs and a passionate fan base, and that's what we got to hold on to.
With how ravenous the fans can be when it comes to these games, yeah. Like, no other fighting games out there can really say that they have, like, that strong a community. They can say that they have bigger communities, of course. But I definitely think, like, one of the more, like, tight-knit ones is definitely surrounding King of Fighters and SNK.
These games in a way I never had before. But I came to appreciate the fans even more. Out of the entire massive landscape of fighting games, King of Fighters, and again, not saying this for any cheap applause or to play to the audience, I'm saying it because of what I have seen with my own 2 eyes. King of Fighters has the best fan base of any fighting game. These games don't sell big numbers, they don't bust blocks, but the people who have played them, the people who have learned these characters, they are a community that is so tightly knit together and so supportive that it puts other gaming franchises to shame. Yes, as I said, I got a few rude messages in relationship to SNK's new owners and in regards to how 100%. I would cover it. But it's the internet. You're always going to find that.
You're right.
Exactly. I that's the reason why we said that, because, like, yeah, that's what I've noticed so far. We, as a, like, video game and video game adjacent lore channel, delve into so many different fandoms. So let me tell you, I've seen the spectrum of the rainbow. The worst out there, So when I say that I agree with Thorgi, I'm not saying this lightly. Like, you guys have been awesome. And with how, like, I guess, receptive of these videos you guys have been, and just in general, like, how passionate you are with the games and recounting your stories about them. It's just been great to see. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Like, I'm not a big fan of just fandoms because I feel like they're always so toxic.
Yeah.
So when you find a fandom that just is just very welcoming and just happy to be here, those are my favorites. I love that so much. When you just can just sit there and enjoy that thing, you're like, how hard is that?
I love how you said, we're just happy to be here. Like, yeah, we're just happy to exist, man. God, SNK, please.
I mean that so much.
Exactly.
It's like you see so many fandoms who sit there and say they love a thing, and then we'll just shit on it and not pile on anything. And it's like, what? Where is the love here? I don't get it.
I tried to enter a series, and then all they can do is just spoil all the things about the game. And it's like, what the hell? Calm down. Well, don't you want other people to enjoy it? Oh, you're not enjoying it the same way that I did, so you're enjoying it wrong. It's like, what? Calm down. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
The internet do be like that.
But that was a drop in the ocean of positivity that I have seen from the KOF fans, not just for these videos, but for each other. There are so many KOF YouTubers, so many KOF artists, so many KOF cosplayers, so many people that love this franchise, and they support each other like a team. Heck, I have had multiple artists draw thumbnails for these videos, major shout out to them, by the way, and I have seen so many of them get a huge surge in followers after posting this art. Do you know why? Because the KOF community shows up for KOF. And that's how they've kept this franchise running. SNK has come crashing down so many times, and yet the KOF fans have continued to run into those burning remains and pulled this series out of the wreckage time and time again. What I'm trying to say, folks, is yes, I don't have any answers about the current situation. I don't know what the future holds.
Nobody knows the
SNK.
future.
I don't know what to do, and I don't know what could happen to KOF, and this is indeed a big thing that should not be made light of. But KOF is more than a game. SNK is more than a company. It's a community that has built up through generations of stories and characters, and that's something that will never die. Yes, the person at the top running everything right now is a bad guy.
Omega
but
Rugal
KOF will
himself.
pull through the way it always has, through teamwork. And no matter what happens, this series could go away for another decade. They could go bankrupt again and again. But as long as that community continues to exist, KOF will live to fight another day.
Heck yeah.
Folks, thank you so much for sitting through this astronomical retrospective. This wasn't just our largest retrospective to date. This might be the largest video that we ever end up doing. If you like this video, then you know what? It's part 4 of the series. You guys all know what to do down there with the subscribe and the bell, and the comments and the thumbs up and all that stuff. Instead, I'm going to close all this out by saying I wasn't lying when I said this has been an incredible experience. And yes, it did get kind of depressing halfway through all of it. But the love and support that the KOF community has shown me while making these videos is what made me keep going, and I want to thank all of you for that. And a massive, huge thank you to the artists who provided artwork for all the title cards that we had. Seriously, you guys did incredible work on all of these, and I linked to each of their individual pages in the individual videos, so make sure that you go back, check them out, make sure you follow them and support them. They were each great to work with, and their art came out incredible. Thank you guys again for joining me for this massive, crazy journey. Stay safe out there, and come back next time.
Yeah, we have to end this. That it?
Oh, also, here's my ranking of all the games. No, I will not be elaborating on that or taking any questions. Bye, everybody!
Bruh. Actually, I'm kind of curious now to see that. 1 second. 13?
13. Okay.
You know, I mean, that
13,
makes sense.
15, 14. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Best Boom in there. Man, that was hilarious.
Yes. This has been a journey.
Oh boy, I don't even know how long this journey has taken us, but I'm really glad that we delved into this. It is
honestly, yeah.
It's kind of spooky when you go into something so long because the amount of time that you're gonna have to commit to it, and you're not really sure if you're gonna be along there for the ride or if you're gonna enjoy it as much as you think you will. But this one has honestly far surpassed my expectations with the games themselves, and especially the company.
I wasn't looking forward to starting it because I didn't have a whole lot of interest going into it, and it was so long. But I'm glad I did because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have a newfound respect for SNK, for King of Fighters, and for all of everything that encompasses it.
That I do agree with. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, sir. I know that I kind of drag you around to look at all these different fighting game things that even I'm not sure if you're going to like something. But yeah, I'm glad this one worked out. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, no, this has been so much fun. A real roller coaster up and down. I don't think I have been so emotionally invested in a video as I have these last couple.
Exactly. 100%. But yeah. Massive shout out to Thorgi for making these awesome retrospectives. It's been incredible. So much fun learning about funny games through his videos. And I hope to learn about much more in the future.
Definitely.
I think that about wraps things up. Thank you guys so much if you've been here ever since the very beginning of the journey. Hope you guys enjoyed your time here, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Survey and I will catch you guys in whatever we check out next. Later, dudes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.